Welcome to our ZMY Begin class. We're going to start with legs up the wall. So find your space, wherever that space is. And we're going to start by putting our hip, it could be the left hip, it could be the right hip. It really doesn't matter, but we're going to have the knees bent. We're going to get our hip as close to the wall as possible. And then we're going to lie down so we can bring the legs up. This is going to take it's going to take a little bit of wiggling and maneuvering, but this is such a beneficial pose. And if your hamstrings are tight, your sitting bones aren't going to be all the way up against the wall. You might have to back away from the wall a little bit. You do want the lower back to be on the floor, so the butt is not floating. It's actually down towards the floor. Yeah.
It's not easy to get up to the wall.
Yeah, you got it though. Yep. And once you're up there, and you don't have to be, your hamstrings are actually good enough. They're open enough to do this. Okay. Good. I know I'm looking at her. I'm looking at you upside down, Patty. So once you guys are up here, just go ahead and put both your hands on the belly. Okay, we're going to pay attention to the breath a little bit. You're going to start to feel some sensations happening in the legs, and we're just going to breathe through that. You're going to feel tingling. You're going to feel the blood rushing, the circulation, all of that stuff. This is very, very beneficial for the body, not just because your legs are up and it's good for swelling, varicose veins, all of that, tired legs. You're giving your cardiovascular system a break from having to work against gravity. You're shifting the body into that rest and digest mode. With the legs above the heart, your nervous system really loves that. So see if you can start to kind of feel that calmness, even though you might start to feel the sensations in the legs. And taking full exhales here, feeling the navel kind of drop to the back of the body. You are going to have a pretty much a flat back here with the legs up. And so we're going to be talking about all things. A lot of the celebrations that we do this time of year have everything to do with rebirth, growth, renewal, things like that. So even if you've done some of these postures that we're about to do today, even if you've done them a whole bunch of times, see if you can see them with new eyes. See if you can see your body with new eyes. There's a quote by Viktor Frankl, and he says, between stimuli and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and freedom. So finding those moments where you're either going into habit or going into new behavior, responding instead of reacting. On your next exhalation, I want you to feel the full exhale and then notice the pause before the new breath comes. And see if you can kind of feel how that short amount of time, in that short amount of time, there's a deeper rest. So exhale fully and pause, and then let the new breath come. We'll do that a few more times. And then go ahead back to regular passive breath. We're going to start to move the legs a little bit as I talk you through this. So by now you're probably feeling that draining in the legs. And I want you to be just extra mindful as we move through this. Try to be completely in the present moment, feeling every sensation. Bend your knees one at a time until your feet are flat on the wall. And as you bend the knees, feel the way the sensation moves, feel the feet on the wall. We're going to take a few breaths here. And so now bring the bottoms of your feet together and let your knees hang out to the sides like butterfly pose. And it doesn't have to be, that wide. Just open them up a little bit. And then you'll bring the knees back together and you'll roll onto your side. Notice how even rolling onto your side, you're going that the legs have an even different sensation. So just roll on your side, use your arm as a pillow. Take a breath or two here. All of you had your bodies right up to the wall. That means your hamstrings are doing pretty good. Okay, there are some people, their knees are bent, they're this far away from the wall. So your hamstrings are good, all of you. Okay, slowly push yourself up. You're actually just gonna come right to your mat and lie down on your belly. So once you get yourself to hands and knees, just get to your mat and lie down. We're gonna use the right arm as a pillow and then grab the left ankle or foot. Just grab what you can. We're gonna open up the front of the body. You can do it. If you're feeling enough of a stretch here, just keep holding on to the foot, but you could also push your hips into the mat. That'll make it a little bit deeper. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. And your eyes can stay closed here. Continue to feel anything that's happening in the body.
I feel pain.
We'll take one more breath here. And then go ahead and release that left foot. Use your right arm as a pillow, and we're gonna grab the right foot or ankle now. Reach for the ankle first, because I'd prefer if you have the ankle, but if that's not happening, that's okay. Draw the heel towards the body, push the hips into the mat, maybe, and then find your breath. Just a couple more breaths here. And then go ahead and release. You're going to bring your hands to your lower ribs. So move your arms, bring your hands to your lower ribs, and curl the toes under, because we're going to slowly push ourselves to hands and knees. And then we're going to sit back in child's pose. So knees apart, big toes together. Sit back on the heels and walk the hands forward. Remember that if the forehead is not touching the floor, use your fists or use a block or a blanket. And if you're able to keep the hands forward, press the hands into the mat. Pressing the hands into the mat is going to open up the shoulders, and we are going to use the shoulders a little bit today. I want to make sure they're good and warmed up. One more breath here. Feel the breathing up and down the spine, moving evenly. Go ahead and lift the head, walk the hands towards the body. You're going to come up onto hands and knees, bring the knees under the hips, We're gonna curl the toes under and we're gonna sit back on the heels the best you can. And Susan has been using yoga toes and she can sit on her toes now. It helps, right? I actually recommended it to a student today because this is just not an option. Okay, so if you're able to do this, just do it as far as you can. If you're able to sit all the way up, start to really roll the toes, like smash the toes. And you're actually up further than you're good.
I know, but I'm like, my feet don't bend. I'm looking at everybody else.
Which way
Oh,
are
from what we were talking about.
Yeah.
toes
Are you
under?
able
How are your toes?
They're curled under. Yep, they're curled under. So the toes are curled under and then we're sitting back to try to stretch the foot.
Okay,
Yeah, does that feel okay for you? Because you don't have to come all the way up. You just go as far as you can.
I'm as far as I'm going.
Yep, and then just breathe. All right, enough torture. Go ahead and come back down to hands and knees. Tap the tops of the feet on the mat a little bit, just to loosen them back up. And then cross at the ankles. We're gonna have a seat so we can warm up the arms a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna do just basic arm stretching here. You've done this in gym class before. Inhale, bring your arms up. And then we're gonna grab the left elbow and let the hand fall behind. So we're just grabbing the elbow and pressing it behind the back, yeah. And if you look at our hands will do all kinds of weird stuff, right? Just let the hands go. Palm facing over to our shoulder blade. Just a little bit forward. And go ahead and release. We'll do the other side. Palm on the center of the back. Take another breath here. And then we'll go ahead and bring the arms open. Take the left arm across the chest, or the right arm, sorry. Right arm across the chest, and we're just pressing. Notice the difference if you are pulling the shoulder blades towards each other, or if you're just pulling. Like pulling the shoulder out of the socket. Have some stability here. Open up, do the other side. We'll pay attention to the legs too. I know you guys have sore legs from the weekend. All right, go ahead and release. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, lean to the right. Bring that arm down. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. Bring that right hand down. And then we're just doing a simple twist today. So left hand to the right knee. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, revolve. Your right hand is going to support you behind your back. Bring your awareness to the spine where the rib cage is. Rotate from there. Exhale, come back to center. Other side. Right hand to left knee. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, revolve. Exhale, come back to center. We're going to first have the legs together. Just extend the legs out in front of you. Inhale, lengthen. And remember, when we're talking about the bandhas, or bandhas, we're lifting the pelvic floor, but it's not just an engagement of the abdominals. It feels like we're scooping in and up, right? We're like engaging deeply, but we're lifting in and up. So do that as you exhale forward, coming into a forward fold. Just grab onto the outsides of the legs. If you can grab the toes, grab the toes. If you can grab the outsides of the feet, grab the outsides of the feet. Be sure that you're pressing the legs into the mat and you're pulling the shoulders back. The chin is in the direction of the shins. And just continue to breathe here, keeping that engagement. We're going to take 3 more breaths, shoulders away from the ears. Good. Inhale, look up at your toes, and then exhale, release. Now take the knees away from each other. So coming into this wide leg, seated bend. And if you're feeling a lot of rounding in the spine, you could put a blanket under your sitting bones to help you elevate. Keep the feet flexed here. We're gonna walk the fingertips forward. And you might not go far. Who cares, right? You're feeling it, right? This is the adductors here. Some of them, well, yours would probably be attached to the back of yours is on the outside of the knee, that muscle probably that's pulling. But sometimes we get knee pain on the inside of the knees because these are tight. All right, if you feel like you can walk further and start to grab the outsides of the legs, go ahead and do that. Keep the shoulders back. After you're in this for a couple of breaths, the body does usually soften and want to come further, but don't push it. Do find your edge. Inhale, come all the way up. Okay. Lift the knees by using your hands. So we're carefully lifting, and then we're bringing the bottoms of the feet together and letting the knees hang out to the sides. So yeah, you can bring your heels close to the body. I want you to first hold on to your ankles to do that for stability. And before we go forward, I want to show you something because I see this a lot and I want to make sure that you're getting the most benefit of this pose. The elbows are going to be up here, okay? And they're going to be pressing into your thighs as we go down. As we go down, you're pressing into the thighs and your neck is staying long. So the shoulders stay away from the ears. Even if your legs won't go down any further, still press, okay? All right, so let's do it. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. So even that you might not go too far. And the back is doing a lot of work here. The shoulders are away from the ears. Chin is going in the direction to the floor. And then inhale, come all the way up. And now we are going to press everything to the back of the spine and still press the legs open, trying to get the top of the head to aim towards the feet, or at least the floor. So your neck is completely dropping here, or your head is completely dropping here. And then inhale, come all the way up. Okay, use your hands to bring your knees back together. Does that feel any better? Come to hands and knees because we're gonna work on chaturanga. That's all right, let's do Betalasana first. Pay some attention to the spine. Make sure that your hands are shoulder width apart and then your hands are in front of the shoulders, okay? Inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the spine, lift the chin. And then exhale, lead with the tailbone and just like a wave of breath, make it all the way to the head, drop the head. So after doing the forward folds we were just doing, go ahead and continue back and forth. After the forward folds we were just doing, you might want to start off doing this a little bit slower. I mean, it's not like we're doing it very quickly anyhow, but. And then, I mean, I'll encourage you to really like add some twisting or moving the hips or something, because that feels good when you're twisting as well. But it's really up to you. Okay. Wherever you are, just finish up and then we'll come back to a tabletop, flat back. Take your right hand to the center of the mat. Inhale the left arm up. And then you're going to exhale and slide that arm underneath the right. So we're threading the needle here. Reach the left fingertips as far as you can. Place your head on the floor or a blanket. And use your right hand to help push you into the twist. If you're not feeling much here, which you probably are, but if you're not, you can always shift your hips back to center because we do want to feel this in the left shoulder. You know, our right arm has to be strong to support us, and then the entire torso is twisting. It doesn't feel as deep of a stretch of some of the other poses, but you are in a twist. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. Either have your eyes closed or just be staring at one spot. We're going to try to focus and be mindful. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and start to slide back up to hands and knees. Take your left hand to the center of the mat, inhale the right arm up. And then exhale, slide it under the left. Good. Reach the right fingertips as far as you can. Push the left hand into the mat. Swing your hair out of the way. Three more breaths here. Inhale, come all the way up. Okay, so just have a seat on your heels for a moment. This is a begin class, so we're typically breaking down a pose or focusing on internal, external rotation, something like that. I just want to go over quickly chaturanga. All of you have done chaturanga at this point, but there's always fine tuning that can happen, right? So I'm just going to show you where we're going to start because it's going to be difficult. You're not going to go very far. Say nice things to yourself. I mean it. The really, you know, my teacher probably would one of my teachers would probably disagree with this, but what I have always been taught and what is always, I mean, I've been doing yoga for 20 years. I've never had shoulder problems. So I'm going to keep doing the way that I'm doing it, right? We want to keep the elbows tucked in when we do this. Elbows tucked in, and we're not letting the shoulders come down first, and we're not letting the lower back come down first. We're trying the best we can not to let that happen. So we're going to do a reverse chaturanga to practice that because you're going to feel it that way, right? Your hands will be at the lower ribs, and we've talked about this, not your bra line, your lower ribs. Do you see right now how my shoulders are dipping forward? We don't want that. Shoulder blades engaged. Elbows are squeezing towards each other. And already the entire back of my body is engaged. Toes are going to curl under. And I'm going to lift my body evenly just to feel, I mean, it's supposed to be like a plank all the way down or up. So tell me if my body lifts all at the same time. I'm not going to go far. And down. Okay, we're going to try that. We're not doing this. Okay, or this. We're doing this. Okay, just do your best. You might not even make it off the ground, and that's fine. I just want you to feel the back of your body get strong and your arms get strong. Okay, so hands at the lower ribs, elbows are scooped in all the way. Toes are curled under. The back of your legs are really strong right now, so they're straight. And yes, we hear train, but we're still doing boat pose today. All right, so do your best to lift your body with the back muscles, the muscles in the back of the body. You might only go a centimeter, and that's okay.
Am I off the ground yet?
You don't have to be off the ground. Once you're done, just kind of rest on your right cheek. Take a moment, take a breath or two, and then if you want to try it again, you can try it again. So it's going to make the other way seem like a piece of cake. But you guys are all doing it correctly. Yep. Nice. Yep. Rest on your left cheek, your right cheek, whatever. Take turns. And so now that we're all resting, we're just going to take a breath or two because we want to rest hard in between working hard. Bring your hands back to your lower ribs. Bring yourself to hands and knees and come back into child's pose for a moment. So big toes together, knees nice and wide. Bring your forehead down to the mat and you can have your arms extended or you can reach towards your feet just to give your arms a rest. One more breath here, and then we're going to get back into it. Bring your hands to the mat if they're not already, towards your body, and lift yourself up. Okay, so now we're going to do chaturanga coming down. And we're just going to do it from, you guys look so angry at me right now. So angry. Okay, watch me go down, all right? Because if you're not able to go down all the way flat, like even, I want you to use your knees until your arms are strong enough to do it. New eyes, right? New growth. So hands are going to be just like they, lined up with the shoulders. That we know. We know how to line up our hands already. You extend the legs straight back and already, like not doing this, nice plank, right? Do I look straight? Okay, we want to use our toes to kind of launch us forward. Elbows are already starting to bend straight back. Shoulders are not dipping first, right? And so you could also keep the head up to help you. If it doesn't look like that, then you're doing this. Okay? Or you can skip it all together whenever we do it. So try it first. Come into plank, navel towards the spine, shift your toes, launch your body forward a little bit, and then lower down evenly. Good. Yep. And then come back up. I want to see you guys do it. And tell me how it's going. And Patty, you're on your knees, right?
I'm on my knees, yes.
Okay.
It's really hard. There's,
Yep.
I don't
So
think
even when,
my arms. Huh?
yeah, look at me for just a minute. So if you're doing it on your knees, even when you're on your knees, your butt is already lowered down, kind of like a plank with your knees, right? Okay. So then when you're lowering yourself, you're lowering your hips and everything down to the floor.
Well, no.
Oh, looks like, there you go. Yep, you got it.
My hands don't. I feel like when we start and we put them here, but then when I'm going the opposite way, that's not where my.
Let me see.
That is hard.
It is. It's very hard, but it will keep you strong and mobile. That's totally fine, what you just did. They're gonna lift a little bit. That's fine, because we're really gonna be using the torso muscles, right?
That's what I've been feeling a lot, like there like a band of muscles that goes around?
Oh, yeah, there's
That's
lots
what
of
I'm
them.
feeling, like when I'm doing things, I feel those flexing.
Good. So if you want to take a break, kind of stretch your wrists out, we can do that. Does everybody feel comfortable with it? Like, even if you don't feel strong enough, which all of you seem to be strong enough, it changes over time, right? It's a difficult pose, and typically, I mean, there are some beginner classes where we're just not even going to do a chaturanga. If we do, it's definitely going to be with the knees, but it's a pose that's used over and over again in yoga classes. So if you're not doing it correctly, it's going to affect you in your shoulders or your lower back or something. So it's so important.
That is a
Okay.
totally new pose for me.
Okay. And so you did a great job doing it.
Huh?
You did a great job doing it. So you were okay doing it with your knees, bringing everything down?
Yeah, but I can't go all the way down even at all. But I can a little.
What's stopping you? What is stopping you? Is it just
Arm
bending of
strength.
the arm?
Strength
Okay.
of arms.
Yep. So anytime I cue chaturanga, maybe you do one and you don't do it. If we do it twice, just skip the next one and just go into down dog or whatever. So don't feel like you have to do it.
No, it's okay. I just don't have the strength to do it.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if you heard everybody groaning in the background, Patty, but you're not alone. Even I struggle with it sometimes, and I've been doing it a long time. It gets you strong quickly though.
I've never been taught that pose.
Well, good.
A yoga
I'm
class.
glad it came to me for this class.
Yeah.
You must have been energetically sending me that message because, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and come into down dog now. So back to hands and knees, curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back. And as we lift the hips up and back, just pedal the feet. Just continue to stretch the back of the legs. Press the floor away from you. Just move your body the way it wants to move right now. It just does not have to be perfect. As long as your fingers are spread and your hands are shoulder width apart, you're good. Okay, and slow down your walking and come to stillness. Feet are hip width apart. You're going to just start to step the feet forward, okay? Doesn't matter how many steps it takes you to get there, just step forward and then put your hands on your shins and lift halfway up. Good. So we all have a flat back here, lengthening through the crown of the head, and also energetically feel lengthening through the tailbone. So it's like we're pulling in two directions. Slightly bend the knees here. Inhale the arms all the way up. Palms together. Hands in front of the heart. When we're doing yoga, we're always working with those opposing forces. The up and the down, the strength and the stretching, the left side versus the right side. Go ahead and bring your hands down. The weight in the front and the back, all of these things, the sun and the moon, that's what we're talking about. Hatha yoga. We're bringing all of those things together into balance. Let's come into mountain pose. So feet are straight. We're lifting the chest. We're not going to get into too much detail about this today. Just find strong legs and a nice tall spine. We'll take a few breaths here. Feel the feet pressing into the mat. Maybe feel where the weight is distributed in the body. Try to get as much balance as possible here.
Are your knees supposed to be touching?
They can be hip width apart or sitting bone width apart. It's a good question. Sometimes teachers will cue you to have your feet together, big toes together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of the alignment method. So I'm going to tell you probably, sitting bone width apart, as long as the inner edges of the feet are straight forward.
Okay.
That's a good question. Yep. I go to a lot of classes where they tell us to put the big toes together. To me, that makes my knees go in different directions and it makes my shins twist in different directions. If I'm looking for balanced pose, then I'm gonna line things up. So you get to decide. Okay, go ahead and release your mountain pose. We're gonna do a wide leg forward fold. So Patty, I don't know if you have a block at home, but you could also use your bookshelf or your bed or something if you need to.
I have a block.
Okay, good. Then you're gonna place the block on the floor right where your face would be as we fold forward.
Okay.
Yeah, you could. Okay, hands on the waist. Legs get strong. Inhale, lift the chest. And then exhale, begin to hinge forward. Keep lifting the sitting bones up towards the ceiling and then bring your hands down to the block. Shift your weight towards the front of the feet. Bring your hands to the floor or the block. And so Patty, you're gonna have your block on the tallest setting, okay?
Okay.
Engage the abdominals, keep the legs strong here. Let the head drop, just let it dangle. So it's really important here as you get more flexible to engage the butt. The sitting bones are lifting the whole time. Otherwise, you're gonna start getting into the hamstring attachments, and that actually has a name. It's called yoga butt. It's called yoga butt because people overextend their hamstrings all the time. Take one more breath here. That's why the strength is important. More groaning in the background. Inhale, lift the head. Bring your hands to your waist. If you can keep straight legs here, keep straight legs. Otherwise, bend the knees slightly and come all the way up.
It was like we just couldn't.
We're doing it one more time. Okay, so this time we're going to extend the arms, and then we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back. So I won't come by you, I promise. Interlace the fingers behind the back, lift the chest. And this time we're coming forward and trying to lift the hands off the back. If you can get the knuckles to go up towards the ceiling, that's great. How come you guys are still standing?
Oh, we're
And keep your, are you good? Good. Take another breath or two here. And honestly, Patty, you can come up whenever you're ready, but if you want to take a couple more breaths, you can. Keep the belly engaged. Nice. Sarah, holy cow. All right, inhale, come all the way up. Go ahead and release the hands, bring the feet back together and shake the legs out a little bit. See, now look, do you seriously need help? Okay. Engage. So now that your body knows that it can go there, your mind is there now. Isn't that cool? Then you have to engage everything. We're going to do those same two forward folds, but we're going to do them with our feet closer together now, which requires more of the hamstrings. If you guys want to use your blocks, you can. Okay. But the block will be in the same spot. Hands on the waist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, same thing we just did. It's a little bit more difficult because your feet are together. Bring your hands down to a block or to the floor. It could be fingertips. Let the head drop when you're ready. Remember to pull the shoulder blades back. And even here, we're not locking out the knees. So a micro bend doesn't mean your knees have to be bent. It just means they're not locked out. Your quadriceps should be doing a lot of work here, and your sitting bones are working too. Now, here's the other thing about the forward folds. Once your belly is engaged, use your back muscles to help press you closer to your legs. Your back muscles are helping to press you down. Do you feel that difference? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, inhale, look up. Exhale, bring your hands to your waist. Same thing. Keep everything engaged. Inhale all the way up. If your belly is not engaged when you're folding forward or lifting up, your back is going to take that. So just remember that. All right. Inhale, extend the arms. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind the back like we did. Inhale, lift the chest. and then exhale, fold forward. Good. Try to take some breaths here. And Melina, you can actually turn your palms inside out and press your palms up towards the ceiling. Yep. Start doing it that way now. Take another breath here. Everything is engaged, legs are strong. Use your muscles in the upper body to help lift you all the way up. Good. And then release the hands and bring the feet back together. Okay, we're gonna do the chaturanga one more time, all right? And we're just gonna come back. Actually, let's do a balancing pose first. We won't do bridge. I know you guys are really sad about, or we won't do boat pose. I know you're sad about that. Yeah. Come to the front of your mat. Let's bring the left leg back. Make sure your hips have enough room to point forward. Bend the right knee. So if you've been doing this pose for a long time, you're gonna start going deeper. Okay, tailbone down, deeper. As long as your back heel stays pressing and your hips stay forward. If you're still getting used to this pose, you don't have to go as deep. Inhale, bring the arms up. Good. And look, all of the stuff that we've done in like these alignment classes and everything automatically go to your brain, right? Like you're doing this. Yeah, shoulders away from the ears. Nice straight arms. Good. Now bring your arms down. You're gonna grab your elbows behind your back. And we're gonna come into bowing warrior here. So inhale, lift the chest. And then exhale, make sure you're pressing both feet into the floor and bow on the inside of your leg. Good. Keep pressing the back of the foot evenly as the front of the foot. You can drop your head here, take one more breath, keep the belly engaged, protect your back. Press your feet, inhale, come all the way up. And then release everything, come hop back to the front of your mat. How was that, Patty?
That was better. I'm better on
Good.
that.
So there's the other pose that we do where we keep the straight legs and fold forward. And that requires more from the back, but having the knee bent is really kind of nice. Okay, other side. So this time bring the right leg back. Coming into warrior one first. So the front knee is bent. It doesn't go beyond the ankle though. Make sure you protect your knee joint. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, soften the shoulders back. So what our bodies typically want to do is this. We want to soften the front ribs and release the tailbone. Good. Nice warriors, everybody. Take one more breath. Go ahead and bring the arms down and grab the elbows behind the back. Inhale, lift the chest. We're coming into the bowing warrior on the other side. So just bring the chest to the inside of the leg. Drop the head. Shoulders stay back. Use the back foot, don't just rely on the front foot here. Another breath or two. And then inhale, come all the way up. Go ahead and exhale, hop back to the front of your mat. Good. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. So we're coming halfway up and getting a flat back. We're coming into chaturanga. So bend your knees so that you can get your hands flat on the floor. Step back. Use your knees if you need to. Remember how we practiced, and then lower your body all the way down. Nice. Inhale, lift the chest, shoulders, and head. So the back of your body will get stronger and you'll be able to rely on it more for poses like this too. Press the tops of the feet and then go ahead and come into child's pose. So sit back on your heels. Do whatever you want with your hands. You can even bring the hands together and drop them behind the neck. Sometimes that feels like a good release. And just take a good rest here and breathe. One more. Go ahead and bring your hands back to the mat if they're not already. Lift the head. Lift yourself to hands and knees, and let's cross at the ankles. We're gonna lie entirely on our back. Not halfway on the back, entirely on the back, whatever that means. I have no idea what that means. All right, so let the spine kind of settle here. Let the back settle, let the hips settle. And then when you feel ready, bring the knees up to the chest one at a time. And then you're gonna hug both knees. Lift the tailbone up so the lower back is flat, and then rock left to right. Go ahead and slow down your rocking. Bring your feet back to the floor. We're gonna do a bridge movement. So watch me do it really quick first. We've done this before. Bridge is where we, are lifting our hips up towards the ceiling. What we're gonna do is, as we lift the hips, we're gonna bring the arms up and back, nice and slow. And then as we exhale, our hands and our hips are gonna touch the floor at the same time. So we're just slow, mindful, controlled movements. So let's go ahead and get ready. Knees are bent. Inhale, lift the pelvis and begin to swing the arms up. As you reach your max for pushing the hips, that's when your hands should touch the floor. And then exhale, come down, moving with the breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. One last time. Inhale, reach up. And then exhale, down. Good. Bring your hips to the left side of the mat. So just bring your hips to the left. Let your knees drop to the right. Just coming into a twist here. Extend the arms straight out. Let your palms be up towards the ceiling. If you're not feeling much of a stretch here, I want you to bend the elbows. You can even grab your elbows over your head if that feels good. Feel your breath beginning to slow down again. We'll take one or two more here. And then go ahead and bring the knees back up towards the ceiling. Shift your pelvis back to the center of your mat, just to pause here before we transition to the other side. Hips to the right, knees to the left. Same exact thing on the other side. Extend the arms, bend the elbows, or grab the elbows. Find your breath here. One more. Go ahead and come back to center. All right. Before we move on to Shavasana, I want you to hug your knees one more time, but this time you're going to cross at the ankles and bring your feet, try to reach for your feet and press your feet towards the body. So it's like you're grabbing your toes and pressing the feet like your legs are cross-legged. Yep, yes. Yep. And then rock back and forth this way. . and then we're gonna do the other side. So whatever foot is on top, you're gonna slow down and switch. That foot is now gonna be on the bottom and it's gonna feel extra awkward. Pull the feet towards the body and then rock left to right.
Stretching, amazing.
Like in a bad way,
No,
but you found it.
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and stop the rocking, bring your feet down. If you can keep your legs crossed here, keep them crossed. Otherwise, just bring the bottoms of the feet together and drop your knees out to the sides. You're gonna take your hands like a letter C. I know we tried doing that. I'm gonna try to explain this. All you're gonna do is put your hands into your hip creases and push down. It's like you're using your thumbs to push your legs away from you.
That hurts.
And then it hurts.
Yeah,
Interesting. What part does it hurt?
my legs, the tops of my thighs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it brings a little bit of traction to the spine. So that might be why. You can let go and bring your arms overhead. Just take a stretch. And then you can uncross your legs and add your legs to the stretch. If you feel like your body needs something else here, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we're going into Shavasana from here. So you can grab a blanket, get your socks on. And I'm going to start to talk you down. You can bring your arms down along the sides of the body. So your palms are going to be facing up. Separate the heels, let the feet hang out to the sides. And look at this as your opportunity to begin to let go. So we're going to do a breath. It'll just be 3 or 4 breaths that we've been working on this week. When you exhale, you're going to shape your lips like you're saying who, and you're going to let the breath out that way. It'll just be like an inhale, an exhale. Yep, you don't have to make noise with it like the who sound. You can just let the breath leave the body that way. Do that a couple more times. And as you're doing this, feel the release in the body. Feel the back of the head touching the mat. Feel the shoulder blades, the arms, and the buttocks. The back of the thighs and maybe the calves and the heels, all the parts of the body that are touching the back of the mat. And allow yourself to feel grounded as you take these next few moments to give yourself this gift of relaxation. Bring your awareness back to your breath. And when you're ready, begin to bring slow movement to the body, the fingers and the toes. And then moving on to the wrists and the ankles. Bending the knees only when you feel motivated to do so. Let them stay heavy. And then after another breath or two, you can slowly roll onto your right side. And we're going to pause here for a moment. In between stimuli and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies growth and freedom. Take another breath or two, and then as you sit up, know that you are sitting up as a new person. You're not the same as you were before. Let the head stay heavy and have any seated position that's comfortable for you. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for letting me guide you today. The teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Move slowly.